Hello, my friends. We are starting at 102. I wanted to wait till 105, but I saw some folks were already in the chat and I didn't want to let them down. The reason I was going to watch this at 105 is because this is a movie I watched on TBS like 9 million times. TBS and Cinemax mostly. So to begin with, I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. Got the formalities out of the way. This came out in 86. It was probably on cable around 87, and I watched it probably from 87 to 90 something. It was on constantly, and I watched the hell out of it. So John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, the kung fu cult schlock masterpiece. Hated at the time, but then later on became a cult classic, and now it's laughing all the way to the bank. Is that a thing still? I don't know. As I was saying, people are already showing up. Let's see who's here. Mr. Bones says, who? And he says, you know what old Jack Burton always says? And I said, who? And then he's supposed to say, Jack Burton, me, Jack Burton. I forget the line. And instead he said, who? So now we just sound like night owls, because we are. How are you doing? Nice to see you, Bones. Thank you for being here. Anthony Chabot says, how are you doing, buddy? By the way, did you watch the Anthony Chabot saga? Oh, damn it, I haven't, Anthony. I do actually need to watch that. I should have a watch along of that is what I should do. Liv Style Rewind. Welcome, Liv. I didn't know you were up this late. Thank you for hanging out. That's nice of you to drop by. Let's see here. Hey, Liv. And Sarah Campbell. Well, I'm awake. Sarah's one of my favorite people on YouTube and the internet. She's always nice and fun. Whenever she hangs out, I'm happy. She dressed as Batman for Halloween one year. She's good people. But I'm always on way too late for her. So thank you for joining us before you zonk out. I appreciate it. Let's see here. I'm going to see Fall Guy Tuesday. The Horror Cat Dad just saw that on tonight, I believe, or today. He said it was hilarious. He thought it was really funny and the action was good too. So that's all he told me. No spoilers. Tuesday in the AM. Sorry about that. Sarah gives me a bunch of smooches. Thank you. Anyway, so like I said, I was going to watch this at 105, which is in a minute. So in honor of TBS, this was often a movies for guys who like movies, but it was also like a filler. Like whenever TBS would have Atlanta Hawks games or baseball games on or stuff I'd watch as a kid, right after they'd show Big Trouble in Little China at like 11 or 12. So this one's only an hour and 40 minutes. So we'll get in and out pretty quick. Talk about some John Carpenter, talk about some Kurt Russell, talk about some Kim Cattrall. Who doesn't love Sex in the Cities? Oh, Samantha, you rascal. Let's see here. Anthony says, today is free comic book day. Got some free comics. Free comic day started after I was done collecting. It wasn't a thing when I was a kid. So I think it was, the business really started struggling after digital media, especially. But now you can get comic books on your phone and, just scroll through them on your iPad or whatever. But before that, they had them, in the paper. For those of you kids who don't know, they used to take trees and they would cut them up and turn them into pressed pieces of ply that you would write on. Never mind, it's not important. So the free comic book day came out long past my time. So I had a huge comic collection. I would have jumped all over a free comic day. What'd you get? I'm curious what titles you read. I was always a Batman, obviously, X-Men, Judge Dredd. I liked all the X-Men spin-offs, X Factor, classic X-Men, which was just old X-Men's that they republished. Anyways, not important. The New Mutants, that's the one I was drawing a blank on. Damn it. That movie ruined them for me. He's watching The Honeymooners. Ooh, to the moon. Sorry, I think I just threatened you. I take that back. You're up to 1996 in your memoirs. That's a big year, so I hope that goes well. Oh, and it is a Manawa Maxito's production. Greetings and salutations. Professor Macabro is here. I always imagine when Professor's typing, he's got the gloves on. It makes me smile. I don't know why. Samantha Jones will forever be an icon. Yeah, she knows. Liv knows. I'm thinking about selling some stuff. Is that your polite way of saying you're starting an OnlyFans? You know what I mean? I don't know. DM me. Please don't. I'll do mine tomorrow. Oh, okay, good. Oh, Fall Guy. Yeah, let me know. Interesting choice for Star Wars weekend, but I can dig it. Thank you for bringing that up, Professor. Actually, I waited till after midnight where I'm at 1 a.m. To be a smart aleck. This is my Cinco de Mayo movie. So I also did on Aliens Day, I did The Wrath of Khan. Thought about doing Big Trouble in Little China for Star Wars Day, but after that big long discussion we had on Into House about Star Wars, I was talked out, and I'm a little overexposed as well. Last week I did Nightmare on Elm Street, and I went to Bones Channel, and we watched Planet Terror. So yeah, there's too much Don out there right now, so I need to pull back the reins. So this got bumped to Cinco de Mayo because it's funny to me. I don't know why I have bad humor. Let's see here. Professor Macabre. Selling movies and stuff that I don't want. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I've done that with stuff. Like I say, check eBay and for some of your weird titles, like off-brand stuff. I know you collect a lot of cool stuff from thrift stores and old resales and stuff. Some of that stuff is like huge collector's item, especially oddball titles they didn't make a lot of. They didn't make many prints of. I'm Professor Macabre. I'm singing your new song. Yeah, that is the jam. The Friendly Men, James in particular, was rocking out to Professor Macabre. He wrote a song. It jams. So you can find that on Macabro's Instagram page, but it might be. Is it on your page too, Macabre? I don't know. Seems like that would be a short or something floating around. The one and only MSJ. What up? Group hug in the shower. All right, let's do it. Brother Max. Everybody's happy. Welcome, Max. Welcome. So anyways, yeah, it's past 1:05. I've already gone past my mandate of trying to mimic TBS. This one I'm watching on Tubi. It's streaming free, so it's gonna have commercials, but at the same time, like I say, it keeps with the TBS theme I'm going for here. Yeah, I think we might as well just go ahead and press play on this one. 3, 2, 1, play. I'm sure they're gonna hit me with a commercial. Yep, there you go. That's Tubi's MO. They like to get you with a commercial up front, and then let's see if it's a long one or a short one. This looks like a long one. Sometimes they hit you with a short commercial up front, and they hit you with the long one about 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in. If they hit me with the long one up front, preferably the future ones will then be the shorties. So let's see here. Liv says that we watched a Mexican Batwoman movie for Cinco de Mayo in my nerdy online movie group that I'm in. A Mexican Batwoman movie, you say? Is that I may have to try to find that one because I saw oh god, what is it? Turkish Batman? I don't know. There's some foreign Batman that I like. It was absurd. And then I think Andy Warhol did some Batman stuff that I've always been meaning to find. I don't know. Hey, Bones Professor Max. How's everyone in your stream doing tonight? Welcome. I got that movie from Sean Blue for Christmas. I'm assuming Big Trouble in Little China is what you're talking about, or the Mexican Bat movie. I'm waiting for May 4th celebration to finish uploading. Drinking some beer with Clamato this weekend. Was debating on popping up Rogue One. Ooh, yeah, Rogue One's a good watch, especially for Star Wars Day. Most consensus is that's one of the better Disney movies. It's the one with the least amount of hate. I think that means it wins. All right, so the movie's starting. We got the little spinny circle. Rated PG-13. This was shortly after PG-13 actually became a thing. This is 20th Century Fox production. At the same time, I'll put this away. At the same time this was being made, The Golden Child was being made. And that was by Paramount, I believe. And John Carpenter and a bunch of the people from 20th Century Fox were pissed. They were like, why is Paramount making a Asian-based mystical movie? There hasn't been a Hollywood one for like 20 years, and all of a sudden there's going to be 2 within like 6 months. So The Golden Child, like, obviously isn't that mystical. It's similar, but whatever. But Eddie Murphy being the big star, they needed a big star power to play the role in this. And eventually went to Kurt Russell, who's awesome in this. I couldn't imagine anybody else doing it. But they originally went out to Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson, apparently. I can't imagine. I can imagine Clint Eastwood a little bit, but not funny. And Jack Nicholson, too funny. It is weird. Let's see here. Macabro says, Mexican Batwoman, I can dig it. Avoid Italian Batman, though. There you go. That's probably the one I watched was Italian Batman. That movie you're watching. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. There you go. That's a good one to have. I never had it on VHS, I don't believe, but I did have it on the regular single disc DVD. It first came out as a double disc, and then they got rid of all the special features from it, and they just left the coolest thing on the double disc, which was the John Carpenter and Kurt Russell commentary. So that's the single disc I had. But then when they released the Blu-ray, they put all the stuff from that original DVD double disc back on the Blu-ray because there's all that extra room on a Blu-ray disc. I have no idea what the status of 4K is on it. I'm way behind on 4K. I will get into 4K like in the next 10 years after it becomes super cheap or the standard. But until then, yeah, I'm tapping out at 1080p, bro. Oh, Max says, I'm doing a Revenge of the Fifth. I'm going to see Phantom in the theaters. Yeah, that's. I saw it had a release this weekend. I didn't know how big of a release it was. I should have checked to see how many theaters. Fall Guy was the big movie this weekend, and Tarot, however you pronounce it, tarot cards. That was the other big one coming out, and then the third biggest one was like the re-release of Phantom Menace. It's the 25th anniversary. That makes me feel old. Woo. Big Trouble is now a Disney movie. I didn't know that. They talked about making a remake or a sequel, actually, where The Rock played or was in Big Trouble in Little China 2, but apparently he wasn't going to be Jack Burton. He was going to be, I don't know, a friend of Jack Burton, so he passes the reins on to or something. Oh, let's see here. You might work at a security park. That's cool. Don't rough anybody up, brother. Why do they call her Lassie? Yeah, I'll get to that when she gets up. All right, so we open up on Kurt Russell just being Kurt Russell. I think of him as like an action star or like an action star, I guess, more than anything. But he's such a good comedian, like Overboard and this and Captain Ron and I don't know. Like I say, I think of him, mainly as an action star with Escape from New York and the Fast and the Furious movies and whatever else. But I don't know. In this, he's really awesome. He's hilarious. He's sort of a almost like a Bruce Campbell type figure, except Ash is incredibly competent, and this guy's the opposite. He's like incompetent. He's all bluster. He's full of bravado, but he doesn't really actually do much. The sidekick is actually the guy who does all the work. It's like almost like a Green Hornet type deal. Like, Kurt Russell's homie in this ends up like beating up everybody and saving the girl and being like the baddest dude in it. And Kurt Russell's just kind of like talking a lot of crap, walking around with his chest puffed out, I think it's just called Batwoman from 1968. I definitely recommend if you can find it, and dubbing was hilarious. And there was a Wild Fish Man. Highly recommend if you like bad movies. I do like bad movies. Oh, Mr. Echo is here. Hello, Echo Zero. Hey, kids. Nice to see you. How's everyone who has pants on? I do for now. We'll see when once old boy turns into Raiden and starts shooting lightning like the Emperor from Star Wars. Then yeah, I might pull him off because she howls like a lassie, Professor. Kurt Russell's awesome. He's like Ryan Gosling in that he can do literally anything. That is a good comparison. Ryan Gosling is surprisingly good at stuff. Like he falls in that Brad Pitt category. Like I wanted to hate Brad Pitt for years, and eventually he was in so many good movies that I liked that eventually was like, fine, I like Brad Pitt. And eventually it was like he became an actor I always wanted to check out. And that's how Ryan Gosling is. When he first came out, I'm like, I don't know about this dude. And then after a while, it's just like he's just always good. Every time he's in something, I'm enjoying it. Fall Guy, or like I said, that's what Anthony's talking about going and seeing, and Larry just went and saw. He said he's hilarious in it. The writing credit just went by. The writing credit is kind of interesting in this. The original screenplay was supposed to be take place in the turn of the century, like the 1900 or 1800s, flipping over to the 1900s in San Francisco. So it's like a cowboy movie. It's kind of a ripoff of Kung Fu or something, right? Except it was going to have all this lightning and mysticism and magic and stuff. But then Carpenter in the studio decided, like, there's no way we could film this for the $25 million budget. So they ended up rewriting it to now. And the guys who originally wrote it were like very mad that their screenplay was taken away from them. And that they always do that in Hollywood movies. I don't know what they're whining about. But they were very mad that their screenplay got taken away from them. And they called the new guy who was brought in to write and encouraged him not to take the job. And he's like, look, man, they're going to rewrite this no matter what, whether I do it or not. So I'm doing it. Leave me alone. It got so ugly at one point, Carpenter took their names off of the movie. And then there was a dispute with the Screenwriters Guild and everything. And their names got put back on. And then adapted by is the new guy who wrote it, the W.D. Richter dude. Kurt Russell's hair is like, can we make military weapons out of that? It looks indestructible. It's like the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like there needs to be monuments to Kurt Russell's hair. How does he do that? Like, it's the wind's blowing. Shouldn't it be all messed up? It's all coiffed and perfect. I don't know how he does it. Oh, where were we? Let's see here. Clean cut Echo. Yeah, I saw Echo got a haircut and then shaved his beard, I think, maybe a little bit. I don't remember. But yeah, I was impressed by the haircut, Echo. It's very clean and tidy. What about those of us that aren't wearing pants? I matter too. You do. Pantsless lives matter. How you live? Let's see here. If you have no pants on, get a free pizza that only you can eat in your dreams. Well, is that like the night you were giving out tacos? She's like, I'm all right. Leonardo DiCaprio was like that with me. I was like, oh, Titanic, dude. But eventually he won me over. It's happened a bunch with me. Johnny Depp. I didn't want to like Johnny Depp for like the first 6-7 years of his career. And then by the time he got to like Nick of Time and Jack Sparrow and all that, I was like, fine, I guess I enjoy Johnny Depp enough. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty boy actors. They're hard for other men to get a hold of. I always liked George Clooney and John Hamm right away, though. Like, I appreciated their like James Bond masculinity. I was like, okay, I like that guy. He's got cool Cary Grant appeal. But yeah, the other pretty boys, I'm like, I can't do it with this guy. But Gosling won me over. Brad Pitt won me over. Basically, Kurt Russell was that at the beginning of his career. He was a Disney kid. He was in like the computer that wore tennis shoes and a bunch of other stuff. And he was basically, I compared him before to like Zac Efron or something. He's just kind of a handsome young guy with dimples, right? A Disney kid. And it was John Carpenter really who got him to do other stuff. He first got him to be Elvis, and then later on Escape from New York and The Thing, and then this. When I was talking about the commentary track on the DVD or Blu-rays, Carpenter is a real like curmudgeonly old dude, and on most of his commentaries, he's just sort of like, on this we use a 1.8.5 super cinemascope, very like technical and gruff. But when he hangs out with Kurt Russell, the two of them just like laugh. It's like old buddies hanging out, so it's really fun. Like, you get to see a different side of Carpenter. Kurt Russell has like an infectious laugh, so when they tell their little stories and they're laughing about it, you feel like two old buddies, sharing war stories or something. So in the movie I'm not talking about, the Pork Chop Express is driven by Kurt Russell, and he goes and picks up his buddy, and they're going to pick up his buddy's fiance who's coming in from China, I believe. And she's going to, they're going to get married. And when they get there, there's a big thing where they try to steal his girlfriend or whatever, his fiance. And that's where the movie starts. So once again, like Kurt Russell's sort of a side character. The whole thing's about the sidekick getting married and how they steal his wife and stuff. This role apparently was offered to Jackie Chan, which makes total sense. But he turned it down because the Big Brawl, which I like, and The Protector were both bad in the U.S. They like flopped. So he was sick of doing studio movies, and he wanted to go do kung fu movies, Chinese kung fu movies and stuff. Let's see here. I see a pop quiz. Hotshot. Who are the best hunters, the Mandalorians or the Predators? Ooh, I'm gonna go Predators, but I've only seen one season of the Mandalorian, so there might have been some good stuff that I didn't see. But the first time I ever saw Boba Fett on the damn holiday special, he killed some sort of big dinosaur thing. Place Beyond the Pines was one that made me realize Gosling was more than just a very pretty face. What was mine? Drive, obviously it was the first one where I was like, oh, that's a pretty damn good movie. And then what's it called? The Other Guys or whatever, the one with Russell Crowe. I always forget the damn name of it. That one he's really good in. But then in Blade Runner, what is it, 2049 or whatever it is, that one, I always get the numbers confused. That one, he's really good in, and he won me over about then. And then when he won awards for La La Land and it was all that singing and dancing, I'm like, is there nothing this man can't do? Speaking of doing people, here's Kim Cattrall. Yes. She was primarily, they didn't want her for this role. They actually wanted somebody more like traditionally regarded in Hollywood. She was, as they mentioned in the chat, she was Lassie from Porky's, the lady when she has sex who howls like a dog. So even then, later on, when she went on to be in Sex and the City, which is what most people know her from, she had like kind of a sex crazed persona. But this she did, and it was like kind of her first non-Shannon Tweedish role. And I think after this, like she goes on and does Mannequin and some other stuff, which is more straight, you know. Her name drives me nuts in this, though. Gracie Law, and she's a lawyer. Like that's like it's too on the nose. They should have rewrote that. I mean, I think that's supposed to be comedy, but it's me, Gracie Law. The best hunters are pizza hunters. Oh, Echo's on some pizza tear tonight. Last time I was on tacos. Kurt Russell's hair is great, but none can beat the epic hair of Eric Roberts. The best of that is. I feel like Eric Roberts' hair is what inspired Steven Seagal's hair for like the next like 20 years. He's like, I just want it to look like that. Yeah, it's the same hair as old boy from Karate Kid Part 3, who's later on in the show. I haven't watched any of the show, but it's like, yeah, that same perfectly coiffed and slicked back ponytail. It's like part douchebag, but at the same time, I also feel like he could probably do some karate or something, or hunt some werewolves or some shit. Going to bed soon, but we had snow, so wearing pants to bed, LOL. Eric, thank you for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you have pants on, but at the same time, you're my guy, so you go ahead and take them off, man. You make your own pants choices, especially in bed. In bed, I like to do the thing where I put like the blanket, and then I put one leg under the pillow or under the covers, and then one leg out, so it like perfectly regulates your sleeping heat. So you can't do that with pants on. You get too hot, you get the sweaty neck, and from the I don't like it. But anyways, thank you for joining us. And if you leave without saying goodbye, sleep well, buddy. Why do you want to get a hold of them, Don? Get a hold of whom? I already forgot. The Thing is freaking awesome masterpiece. Love it so much. Snow, where are you at? I think he's out somewhere in the mountains, I think. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Lake Tahoe, California. There you go. I knew it was something fancy like that. We get snow in June sometimes. Liv says, dang, that's nutty. Snow should be allowed in May. My condolences. Yeah, I live in Wisconsin, and we've had it here in May before, but we've been on a literal hot streak. We've been on a hot streak, so it's been above 70 for the last little bit. Although today it dipped down below 50 for a little bit, and I was very unhappy. Don, have you seen the video of her with her husband doing some freestyle jazz scatting? That was hilarious. No, I don't think so. I think my biggest affinity for her was probably in Mannequin. I saw that in the theater. That was a weird one to see in the theater. Shite tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo needs some taco hunter. Yeah, exactly. I've done that. LOL. The leg regulating thing. Yeah, that's a classic. That's a veteran sleeping move right there. The other veteran sleeping move is taking a pillow you're not using and putting it between your knees like a pregnant woman or something. It's so much comfortable because it makes your hips like level out. Like normally when you lay on your side, your hips kind of press in, but if you put a pillow between your knees, you keep your legs in a way where you wake up, your back doesn't hurt and stuff. I'm a pro sleeper. I know people think because I'm awake at night, I'm an insomniac. It's like, no, I have a sleep disorder. I'm wide awake when it's dark and I'm exhausted when the sun's out. I'm a vampire raccoon. So because of that, when I do sleep, I sleep like a champ. Like I could probably go to if America had sleeping in the Olympics, I would definitely represent our country. I am awesome. But yeah, it's not insomnia I suffer from. I like the nightlife. I like to boogie on the disco. Originally, one of the things that people don't like about this movie, when it first came out, it got killed in the box office. It went for, I think it made, what was it? The budget is $25 million, and it made 11.1. So, we always go by the rule that you have to double the budget. So it basically cost them $50 million to make this movie and then advertise it and put it out. And it only made 11.1 at the box office. The critics hated it too. Ebert was real rough on it. He's always rough on everything. Of course he is. But most of the newspaper press and everything didn't dig it. But then a lot of films like this, cult classics, they catch on with cable and with the VCR crowd, and people will cape for movies that other people don't like if they believe in them. And this is one that it's easy to stand up for because it's funny. It's got kung fu. It's got magic. It arguably invented a couple of the characters from Mortal Kombat. But yeah, after the people who love it on the old rental and cable, then the next generation of kids who grew up, it's like, oh, my dad used to always make me watch this, so they think of it as a classic. So nowadays, it's rated a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So if you know anything about IMDb scores, that's really good. Rotten Tomatoes, 82% by the audience, and then Metacritic gave it a B+. So as you can see, over the years, it's grown on. Right now, they're in the alley. This is one of the things. They went and picked up the fiance at the airport, and they met Gracie Law, which is a stupid-ass name. And then they turned down an alley, and a big gang warfare breaks out. And dudes have machine guns, and they're shooting each other, and they're like, all dressed up in black geese and white geese, so you can tell who's on what side and everything. But yeah, it's just full-out war in between the Pork Chop Express. The people are on both sides of it, and this is his girlfriend's gonna end up gone. Fiance, I should say. Here's Al Leong. Is that his name? The guy from Lethal Weapon. The what's his name? Poe or whatever. Oh, they don't give Al Leong a credit on IMDb, you bastards. Yeah, he's most known for the guy that tortures Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, but he's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so there's this huge big kung fu gang war going outside of the truck, and Kurt Russell and the homie just sit there, let it go on around him. They don't get out and get in the fight like most other action stars. They're like, you should just let this ride. This one I've probably seen. Like I said, I first fell into it when it came out on VCR. Like most stuff from the mid '80s, it's the same story. It's like it came out on VHS. I watched it a million times. The weekend we had it for 3 days, and then after that you would watch it on cable. It would show up on Max, or it was a lot of times on HBO in the afternoon, because it's not really a nudity movie. There's a lot of karate and stuff, but it's not a lot of swearing. It's PG-13. The original, like I said, they rewrote this, Carpenter and this dude W.D. Richter. The original script apparently would have been extremely expensive because it took place, at the turn of the century, and it would have been like a cowboy movie. So it's impossible to get all those horses and build all those sets and get all the costumes and all of it, right? It's just, covered wagons aren't as easy to find as you think they are. But they said that also a bunch of the fight scenes were taken out because it was ridiculously huge and epic. And it kind of makes me wonder, what all did they take out if this isn't, epic fight scenes? Because there's a bunch. Oh, where are we on this one? Professor says, Revenge of 5th de Mayo, double reason to drink tonight. Oh, cheers, my friend. I will toast you with my Body Armor Tropical Punch. People at Body Armor, feel free to send me a bunch of that. Yeah, that's good. Send me 2 of that. The Taco Bell app tomorrow has 5 tacos for $5. Ooh, I may take advantage of that. Please check it out, people in the chat. Google Kim Cattrall scatting. You're welcome. Here's the first dude that looks like Raiden, the first appearance of him. This movie has these 3 magical kung fu masters that show up in the middle of this fight. I believe there's rain, lightning, and then I don't know, is it thunder or is it wind maybe? And then the 3 natures. So this one dude is basically just totally Raiden from Mortal Kombat, obviously way before Mortal Kombat existed. He's got the huge pan hat that covers his face and you can't really see him, so he looks almost comical with it, but at the same time, it looks cool as hell. You can only see his chin. And he does just lightning, lightning fingers, controls the lightning. He's got lightning in his eyes. The Mortal Kombat people say, of course, they didn't steal Raiden from him. But they kind of admit that, what's his name, Shang Tsung or whatever, the guy that steals the souls, that he's based on the David Lopan character in this. So these cats got awesome weapons too. In addition to controlling the weather, they also have like various funky knives and katanas and stuff. It's like how much do you guys need? Where was I? That's my son. He's a sleeping champ. Yeah, that's what I say. Some of us are pros at it. Love at first bite. Let's see here. I'm in Michigan and very thankful we haven't had snow for a little bit. I've missed sunshine over the winter. Nice to have it back a bit. Oh, you're in Michigan too, so you get almost the damn near the same weather we do. Are you Western Michigan or Eastern Michigan? There's a difference. Or same with Southern Michigan or Northern Michigan. I lived there for a while. I lived in Grand Rapids. And I managed video stores all over the place, so I know all of the middle part of Michigan, everything where the people aren't. If it's a town of less than 5,000, I've been there. Yeah, we get sometimes where it snows about every damn day, and town goes nuts. It sounds like the plot of a good movie. Go Lions. Pork Chop Express and Kurt Russell was driving, eating a ham sandwich. You know what old Jack Burton says? I love a good ham sandwich. I know where some covered wagons are. Just need horses. Oh, Echo got a hook up on covered wagons. This is going to sound kind of weird, but you remind me of Macaulay Culkin. Hurtful. Like current day Mac, but as a compliment. I've been through withdrawals and depression, anxiety meds. It's okay. Thank you. And especially me, as haggard as I am lately. I shaved off my beard after winter. I do it every year. We get our first like nice day where the sun comes out, and the first thing I do is like, I'm shaving off this beard. It's making me sweat. So yeah, I'm fully scruffed for the podcast audience. I'm a scruffy looking nerf herder for Star Wars Day. Please forgive me for any strange comments. Hey, thanks. Liv, you are allowed to make all the strange comments you want. Actually, that makes the podcast better. You forgive will make Professor watch a movie about naked purple booties again. What naked purple booty movie did you guys watch? Are you talking about The Amazing Bulk? Please don't talk about The Amazing Bulk anymore. We're going to get sued by The Amazing Bulk people. There, that's better. Currently you're Ann Arborish. Grand Rapids is a great area. Thank you. Well, I've been up to Ann Arbor, but mainly just passing through. Naked purple booties. And we hit a Tubi commercial. So let's see what time it is when it comes back. But this is a short one. Remember I told you their whole plot where they give you like a minute or 2 minute one up front, and the next time you get hit with a commercial, it's usually a short one. So yeah, this was a shorty. They're done and back already. Let's see what time it happened at 24:30. So that was pretty good. They gave me a 2 minute commercial up front, then 20 minutes, 24 minutes of uninterrupted movie. That's pretty good. Here's Kurt Russell in John Carpenter movies always does stuff that normal action heroes don't do, and it's kind of great. In Escape from New York, there's a point where he realizes the president who he's there to save is gone. He's probably dead. So he's like, well, now what? If I don't rescue the president, I die. So he walks over to this pile of rubble and he grabs a chair and turns it and sits on it and just sits and thinks for a minute. And like most action heroes would never do that. You got to be running from explosions. You ain't got time to sit in a chair and think. So in this one, our action hero has had his car stolen, his truck stolen, or he lost it in that big gang warfare thing. And so he's on the phone with the insurance company, and he's arguing with the insurance company while the main characters are actually discussing what's going on with the plot. Wait. Am I going to watch Purple Butts? I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. So that was Professor Macabre. Echo Zero says, because Professor, I got extra evil points if I make you watch that movie again. And she is here. All hail the queen, forever Queen Mayanne. Welcome, Mayanne. I wasn't sure if you'd join us tonight. Sometimes you're exhausted by chasing the kids around. I'm watching this right now. It's 1:37 a.m. Central Time, so 2:30 Eastern. Do the math everywhere else on your own. And Kurt Russell's clothes got all jacked up in that warfare too, in the rain and stuff. So he's wearing like this silky kimono, like a woman's kimono. So our hero is just like totally emasculated, even though he's got perfect hair. Liv says, I love Tubi. It's got a lot of hate for its ads, but I don't think it's that bad considering my extensive catalog. My cheap ass appreciates Tubi. Yeah, I dig Tubi. The first time I saw it, I went through just the horror section. And I just kept scrolling and scrolling, and they're weird. They will do a trick we used to do when I ran video stores. You mix everything together. That's why alphabetized became better than genres, because it makes people sift through everything. That's why they put dump ins like that. Rather than stack them up where you could just go through and read what you want, they mess them up to make you dig and try to find something. So Tubi uses the same approach with the way they catalog their movies. So if you go to horror, there'll be like 300 movies there, and there'll be like a bunch of crap, like just movies made for $5 or some crap you never heard of, like a ripoff of Terrifier or whatever, which is technically a ripoff of It. So you go deep into the woods on these Halloween and clown movies, but then you'll see like The Omen or, you just keep scrolling, like The Exorcist. It's just like mixed in with the schlock. So after going through all the Tubi's horror movies, I kind of fell in love with it. I was like, look at the wide selection, especially of stuff like pre-85. Like a lot of people have stuff post-85 because that's around home media came out. VCRs, most people had them in their home by then. And then later on, they converted to DVD, and DVD converted to Blu-ray. DVD begat 4K, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'm a Tubi fan, and I also like watching stuff that folks can watch streaming. Although if you're watching this past 10 days from the time I'm recording it, so be sure to check on the replay how long it's been. And apparently in 10 days it expires. Tubi's real good for that too. They rent stuff for a month and a half or 2 months. So I've had this on my list to do, and I saw when I turned it on today, it's leaving in 10 days. So this is like The Ring. If you're watching this, you have 10 days to see Kurt Russell in the Pork Chop Express. This one I think is a John Carpenter, like when you see the title printed on DVDs and stuff, or the movie poster. Oh, actually, I got to mention this. They're going to look for old buddy's fiance, and Kurt Russell dresses up like a telephone salesman or repairman or whatever. And that's a takeoff, I believe, from the Chinese Connection. Bruce Lee does the same thing. He needs to infiltrate a bad guy's fort. He does the same thing. He dresses up nerdy with the glasses, just like Kurt Russell did here. But Kurt Russell's suit looks just like the suit he wore in, what's it called, Used Cars. Yeah, so I believe John Carpenter's name is above the title on this. John Carpenter's one of those directors who's a brand. So when you see a movie where it says John Carpenter's blank, John Carpenter's Halloween, John Carpenter's The Thing, John Carpenter's Escape from New York, you kind of have a know, even if it's a different genre, what brand it is, Only like Starman and, oh God, the Invisible Man are probably like his only two deviations where that they don't feel like Carpenter movies. Starman does a little bit. There's some cool stuff in Starman, but it's weird for a Carpenter movie. As where Christine feels like a Carpenter movie, and Ghosts of Mars feels like a Carpenter movie where he doesn't care anymore. Where was I with you people here? You didn't get enough points. Me, Oswetos, Mecha Bro, Gadara, Lucifer, and Pat to watch that thing. Mayan says, thank you for having me. She's, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm up, LOL. Mayan and everybody else, have you seen Big Trouble in Little China before? As I was saying, it's a movie where it's John Carpenter's name above the title and establishes a brand, like same as Wes Craven or Alfred Hitchcock, or you'll see Stephen King's whatever, right? So it just establishes what kind of story you're going to get or what movie it is. Yeah, I'm curious if any of y'all have seen this. I know a lot of people love John Carpenter, but since this isn't horror, a lot of folks skip past it. All hail the queen of awesome bags and Troma's #1 fan, Mayanne. She does have some awesome bags. I understand her husband's frustration with the money spent, but at the same time, there are some dope ones in there. Where was I? Yeah, I lost points for because I said something very nice about someone. Evlico Nemesis. Hi, man. Kurt Russell and Arnold in a movie in the 80s would have been cool. I agree. Was Kurt Russell ever one of the Expendables? He feels like he should have been. I know he was in Fast and the Furious, so that's almost the same concept. So Food of the Gods you can find next to Frozen Disney. Not really. Let's see here. I always liked Ghost of Mars. It's probably his most panned movie, I would think. But it's there's so many elements of it I like, but the movie itself I'm just not a fan of. Like I dig that it's basically like an Assault on Precinct 13 type movie with Pam Grier and Jason Statham. Isn't he in that? Ice Cube is, I know. But Natasha Henstridge, I believe, isn't she in that? The lady from Species. But yeah, it's got kind of an Assault on Precinct 13 thing to it, but then it's also got the zombie ghost people and Pam Grier. You know what I mean? Pam Grier for sure. I have indeed watched it a bunch of times, and even own the 2-disc thick DVD set, Big Trouble. Okay, so that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, when they first released it, they brought it out on a double disc, and it was like a big deal. Loaded with stuff. I think I have the Escape from New York version of that one, the big double disc and the pretty set and all that. And then they stripped it down, pulled out all the special features, and made it just one disc. And they released it on one that was like everywhere for like $7.99 or whatever the hell a cheap DVD would be. So that's the one I ended up grabbing. And then when it came out on Blu-ray, they put all the stuff from the double disc back onto the Blu-ray when they released it. And then I found that in a dump bin one time and got it. So, but I don't think I ever had this on VHS. That one I would have to double check. I don't believe so though. Oh, let's see here. This is the one with the Sec and the City Gas. So you have seen it. Oh, you love you some Samantha, huh? Wang. Yeah. The names in this are crazy. The villain gang, I believe they're called the Wing Kong. Get it? King Kong, Wing Kong. I just got hit with a super tired feeling. I think I'm going to try to go to bed. Had a nice time, though, Don and Chad. Night, friends. Thank you for joining us, Liv. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Good night, Liv. Yeah, that's nice. Y'all to wish Liv good night. This movie, right now, this is after they're trying to figure out how to get old buddy's fiance back. And Gracie Law and him are basically doing all the work, and Kurt Russell just all bravado. He's doing, I guess, like a John Wayne impersonation, but I always just think he's, I don't know, sort of a generic blowhard. He reminds me a lot of his Used Cars character. What is dude's name? The Dennis Dunn is Wang Chi. Yeah, Wang. He's, like I say, he's the real star, the Kato of this. And then Kurt Russell actually, or Jack Burton, he only accomplishes or does good things about half the time. Like at one point, he even gets into a fight and knocks himself out before the fight even starts. That's why I kind of compared him to Ash, except Ash is competent. Like this dude he seems competent, but he's also a knucklehead. As where Ash is just sort of almost like a Johnny Bravo blowhard. It's like got his chest all puffed out. I can handle anything. Oh, let's see here. Mitch is here. I saw somebody at WrestleMania with the best hoodie of this movie. Well, first of all, I'm jealous that you went to WrestleMania. Secondly, welcome, Mitch. And third, tell me about it. Was it stuff on the arms? Was it all on the front? Did it look like that flying eyeball thing? That flying eyeball thing is weird. We'll talk about that when we get to it. What do I feel is Kurt Russell's best movie? That is a fine question. Of course, Eric asked that. Let's see here. Kurt Russell's best movie. I'm probably, right now I'm thinking Escape from New York or The Thing. Those are probably two of my favorites of all time, and I love me some Kurt Russell in those. Oh boy, he has 107 credits. Oh, that's right. I'm seeing a bunch already that I dig. Let me go back to the beginning. Wow, yeah. We got the Disney movies. He was in the Dennis the Menace TV series. I should have known. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. TV series. Oh, wow, he says he was in The Virginian. And the other night when I was watching Death Proof, Kurt Russell mentions how he was a stuntman in The Virginian. So that's kind of funny. Sheesh, yeah. So he was a child actor and a Disney teen actor. Still scrolling and scrolling, and it's got to 75. Kurt Russell has some TV credits, Jack. Man, TV. So yeah, up until Carpenter's Elvis, which is a TV movie, and he's done a bunch of TV movies, but it's almost all TV. And then once Carpenter and him worked together on Elvis, he did Used Cars the same year. Yeah, the next year. And then in 81, he's Snake Plissken. And that's when he gets good, because then he's MacReady in The Thing. Best of Times. I forgot about Best of Times with Robin Williams. That's a classic. I don't know if you're into American football. That's a funny one. And then Big Trouble in Little China, Overboard, Tequila Sunrise, Tango and Cash, Backdraft, Unlawful Entry, Captain Ron, Tombstone, the voice of Elvis Presley and Forrest Gump, Stargate, Executive Decision, Escape from LA, not so much. Breakdown, surprisingly good. If you haven't seen Breakdown, check that one out. Soldier, 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I actually like him in that a little bit. Vanilla Sky, Dark Blue, Miracle. I forgot he was in Miracle. He's really good in Miracle. Sky High, Poseidon. I forgot he was in Poseidon, the remake, but he was in Death Proof. I just talked about that. He's great in Death Proof. Bone Tomahawk. I don't know if you've seen Bone Tomahawk, but if you love like Western horror, or if you're into Predator movies, check out Bone Tomahawk. Oh, that's a winner. I dug that one. Hateful Eight. That's when Kurt Russell was on his bringing back the Westerns thing. I enjoy Hateful Eight. A lot of folks don't, but it's actually rated 7.8 out of 10. That's pretty impressive. He was in Deepwater Horizon. I never saw, but it interested me. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, I forgot about that one. And he's going to be in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters TV show, or he has been for 10 episodes. I didn't realize that show already existed. What the hell? And they did a bunch of the Fast and Furious movies, F9, et cetera, et cetera. Man, that's a lot. I'm still probably going to go. My favorite is probably Escape from New York, but going through that list, like Tombstone and like I said, Bone Tomahawk, Breakdown. He's really good in Breakdown. But I do dig his comedy, Captain Ron and Overboard and Used Cars and Best of Times. Like, he's funny. Like, as we were talking about earlier with Ryan Gosling, some of these pretty boys are just talented people. What are you going to do? Let's see here. Sorry, half trying to fix audio for a video in No More Monster channel. Oh, for the No More Monster channel. Yeah, that's his Echo's other channel. So be sure to check out at No More Monsters. The Thing is Mayann's favorite. Yeah, The Thing is pretty good. Escape from New York and Thing are kind of neck and neck. I like Escape from New York because it's more about Kurt Russell or Snake Plissken, as where The Thing is a bigger ensemble cast. So Kurt gets to shine more as Snake. Tango and Cash is fun, but I also love The Thing. Tango and Cash is kind of a classic. I like that Stallone plays like the stuffy guy in the suit, and then Kurt Russell's kind of the like loose, free, basically Jack Burton. So we're getting ready to get hit with another commercial here. And this is it looks like a long one. Yeah, this one's going to be a long one. Let's see what's going on with the chat. Pop quiz, hot shots. Who wins the Russell fight? Snake Plissken, Jack Burton, Todd 3465, or Wyatt Earp? I'm going to have to go Snake Plissken. Wait a minute. Is Todd 3465? Is that the soldier guy? Because I think the soldier dude might win too. He's pretty badass. But Wyatt Earp's got the old-timey gun, so that's a disadvantage. And Jack Burton's kind of a knucklehead. It seems like he would screw it up somehow. But Snake Plissken's got the machine guns, and he's all that. So I would probably go Snake. My bad. It was a shirt. I've sent it to your Instagram. Oh, I heard it ding behind me. That's what it is. I will check it out. Let's see. Let's see. Indeed, I was watching. Time to check my social media. Hey, look at there. Bad angle. There we go. Look at that. That is a cool one. Attaboy. I like that one, Mitch. That's nice. let's see here. I forgot. Mitch Cassidy on Instagram. Be sure to check that out. Eric says Wyatt Earp wins because of Tombstone. Yeah, see, he's badass in Tombstone, but I think Val Kilmer kind of steals his spotlight. I think, isn't he, or is it Patrick Wilson, who's the main guy in Bone Tomahawk? 3,000 Miles to Graceland was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. That was one when it came out, it got killed by the critics. And then just like this, it was on TBS all the time. So at the 40-minute mark, so they hit me at the start and they gave me 20 minutes and they gave me another 20 minutes. So Tubi's doing good with these commercials. I'm not complaining. We're at the part in the movie where they tried to break into the, Lopan's place to rescue old buddy's Wang's fiance, and they've been captured, and now they're strapped to wheelchairs, and they're in this room full of these golden Buddhas, and there's like a golden gong at the end, like this super cool kung fu set, but it also is visually really cool because all the golden Buddhas like make a depth into the back. It looks awesome. It is a good show, Monarch. I haven't seen Monarch. Where's that at? In Plaga Zombie American Invasion, they have a character who is a Snake Plissken clone. Here's a question. Pop quiz, hot shots. Snake Plissken has the snake tattoo that comes up from his belt line, and it kind of like sticks out across his stomach, and that's supposedly why he's called Snake. Do you think it goes down around like? I mean, I would think I don't know. Sometimes I try to figure what exactly is, where does that end? Wyatt Earp wins at poker, and then LOL. I did a really good watch along on Escape from New York with a guy that specializes in script review. Forgot how good that movie is till I saw it a second time. Yeah, I'm a huge Escape from New York fan. It's I saw it way younger than I should have, and I really dug it. But just in general, like an action movie that take place at night, most of them take place, in the day or in some exotic locale. This one takes place in like a burnt out ass old city. Literally, I think it was St. Louis. After they had a big fire, there was big sections of the town that was closed off, and they filmed like it was a post-apocalyptic world. So here's old boy, what's his name? Dennis Hung or whatever. James Hong, sorry about that, as David Lopan, and his deal is he got a curse put on him, and he's aging and he'll die if he doesn't. He can take souls in and be young for a little bit, or keep his body kind of alive for a little bit, but eventually to break the curse, he has to marry a green-eyed woman. So old buddy's fiance that they've kidnapped is a green-eyed Chinese woman, very rare, jade eyes, right? So as the plot happens, he's going to marry this woman, and then after he marries him, he's supposed to sacrifice her, and that's how he gets his immortality back. So they realize Gracie Law also has green eyes. So he kidnaps them both, and he's going to marry the Asian girl and then sacrifice Gracie Law as a way to get back his eternal youth. So this movie complicated as hell. But it's somehow funny. The first time I saw it as a kid, I didn't really follow it, and I didn't dig it that much. I liked the special effects, and I liked the way it looked, but the story was way hard to follow. I only learned it after many years of watching it over and over again. Where was the Lopan? Lopan, this dude is in, James Hong is in all sorts of stuff. Let's see, influence. Let's see, he was... The Regular Show, Season 3, Episode Fortune Cookie, features a villain called the Warlock, who bears a resemblance to Lopan and is also played by James Hong. The title of Rick and Morty Season 2 episode, Big Trouble in Little Sanchez, is a reference to the film. In Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja, Big Trouble in Little Norrisville. And James Hong, who played Lopan, also provides the guest voice as the shopkeeper. Also in The Gremlins, The Secret of the Mogwai, the show that was out, I don't know, probably about 2 years ago. I don't know, a year ago, whatever it was. It was on HBO Max. In there, James Hong plays the grandpa to the little kid that's the star of the show. And at one point, he gets into a magic fight with an evil wizard. And they do the thing from this, where they look like they're playing a video game with their fingers, and then they shoot the lasers and stuff. So I think that's in episode 2. If you're a fan of that show, I did a episode by episode breakdown of season 1 on my channel. Go into the videos. Those are strangely, besides that Rob Zombie video I did, those are my most watched. So they're a strange departure from me. So yeah, here they've got these cats captured, and they're blindfolded in the dead room or whatever. All these people are hung up on the walls, and they're in the wheelchairs. And of course, Kurt Russell tries to get out, and all he does is tip himself over like a turtle. Echo says Soldier is an awesome movie. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a minute. That's why I wasn't really totally willing to go out on a limb and be like, I loved it, but I remember enjoying it enough. I get it confused with Solo, right? Isn't that the other one that's kind of like that? And then isn't Soldier connected to one of them universes? Blade Runner or might have been. It's one of them. Philip K. Dick stories, I believe. Might be connected to. No, that's Minority Report. I forget. It's not important. Apple Plus. Hell yeah, that tattoo goes all the way down. That's what I figure. That's what I know. That's what I think sometimes, because his name is Snake, which is a double entendre name. Like, it's a cool name, but it's also like, hey, I'm Snake. Nice to meet you. Yep, Snow's connected to Blade Runner. Thank you, Professor. I knew somebody would have my back on that. And then what? Total Recall is connected to Minority Report, I think. Something like that. That's where it all starts getting intertangled in my head. And Solo is Mario Van Peebles, and it's not good, as I recall. So yeah, Kurt Russell, he apparently got swole for this movie in 2 months. That sounds like steroids to me. They said he found out about it after Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson passed, and Carpenter was like, well, let's use my guy Kurt. And as soon as he found out, he had like 2 months, and he said he began running and lifting weights. Well, I don't think you can get swole in like 2 months, but he's not all ripped either. So I don't know, maybe. This has been Kurt Russell Objectification Moment. So yeah, the chat can chill. I don't know. I find Carpenter probably to be Kurt Russell's best director. Like, if the best performances that he's done have been under Carpenter. But yeah, Bone Tomahawk is pretty good. Kurt is good, like, just in general. I read off that big long list of movies he was in, and I had to skip over like the first 20 years of his career because it was just television after television. This tank top he's wearing, I always want to get it. The Kurt Russell Big Trouble in Little China one with like the strange geisha girl with like the setting sun and stuff. They sell it at like t-shirt, whatever, Fright Rags or whatever. You'll see them at the t-shirt places. And I always think it's like, I should get that Kurt Russell tank top. It's not Kurt Russell. It's Jack Burton. Who? Jack Burton. Me. You know what old Jack Burton says? Let's check the chat. Am I going to fight with my pillow and the pillow won? Time to crash. If you're going to be up late, then make it a date with Night Owl Don. Thank you. I appreciate you hanging out, Eric. I hope you have a good night and get some sleep. When you came in, you let us know you were going to have to go to sleep. So the fact that you hung out this long into it shows what a loyal night owl you are. And an awesome friend. He's always sending me cool stuff and messaging me stuff. So Eric's good people. Or scary pops. Don't get so informal with Eric. I got to go make a giant breakfast for my partner, my man. Thanks for a good show again. Hey, thank you, Mitch. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you could join us. The time schedule of me being up so late in America actually works out for some of my friends far away. Mitch with a special guest appearance. His Instagram notification, and then the image he sent me. So it was a full multimedia presentation with Mitch's appearance tonight. And then there's this weird, I never get this third guy. What is his name? The third guy is Donald Lee. He plays Eddie Lee. I remember Eddie. Eddie's just like the third guy in this movie. Like he only kind of exists to like help give the good guys numbers. So since the main dude has his girl, since Wang has his fiance, and then Kurt Russell has like a, I don't know, kind of Casablanca ending with Gracie Law. For some reason, they had to hook Eddie up with like the other lady. Like, I don't know if she's actually, I think Gracie Law's maybe a reporter, but they hook her up with the other lady that's hanging out with Gracie Law. She's just like a third wheel woman who's just there. So Eddie has a girl too. Yeah, let's get to the bottom of this right now. What is Gracie Law's profession? As I recall, yeah, she's a lawyer who's Jack's love interest. And then is the other lady there you go. Margot Litzenberger is a reporter who briefly helps the team find Meow Min, and that's who Eddie ends up with. So for those of you on the woke side, this is a good one. It's got a lot of positive female characters, but this is also gets a lot of hate for its portrayal of Asian American stereotypes and all that stuff. But apparently when they rewrote the script from the original, that was one of the considerations given, is they didn't want to have a lot of trouble with people protesting or complaining that they were buying into stereotypes and stuff. So they took a lot of anything that might be offensive out. But folks still get upset. Oh, there's what's his name? Dennis Nakamura, is that his name? Carter Wong, yeah. Gerald Nakamura. I always get everybody's first name wrong. Gerald Akamura. He's been in a bunch of kung fu movies and like 80s action movies. I think he was going to be in Samurai Cop or one of them. I think my friend, I think Video Tasties might have interviewed him, or at least he did, might have had appreciation for Gerald Nakamura month. But for those of you playing the Drink When I Mentioned Video Tasties game, you go right ahead. So we are at the 51 minute and 53 mark. There's approximately 45 minutes left, I would say. Yeah, there's the reporter. She's trying to write like this poetic thing. A world so unreal and yet at once so frightening. It's all like real hackneyed. Yeah, Carpenter grew up as a big, wow, they got Gracie Law hogtied. Like they got her on her stomach. Like the reporter gets to lay there and just write with a pencil, and they got Gracie Law hogtied. Carpenter was a big fan of a lot of different genres, like most directors are, and he grew up on westerns, and he really loved westerns, and that's why he shoots in like the big widescreen anamorphic, like huge Panavision stuff. Like he got that from westerns where they have like these big vistas and whatnot. So here he shoots like this, but he also is into kung fu movies. Sorry, I was distracted. This dude's beating the hell out of these people with a bamboo cane. It's funny. He also loves kung fu movies, like a lot of people who grew up in the 60s and 70s. They were huge back then, especially the imported stuff. It felt, literally foreign and different and strange and cool. That's part of the reason they were so good on, TV. But he wanted to do a kung fu movie, and he'd been waiting for the right project. And they actually offered him The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, the movie that came out kind of competing with this. And I can't imagine The Golden Child directed by Carpenter. That's a crazy thought. But he made this, and like he said, he wanted to do a lot of like kung fu, and he wanted to, have a lot of mysticism and all these like ancient gods and stuff. And as I recall, this has a weird screenplay structure. Generally, in movies when you're writing a screenplay, they don't make the characters keep going back to the same places. Like they should always be advancing. So if they go somewhere and they leave that place, they probably shouldn't come back unless it's whatever reason. And that's what this does. They broke into this brothel where they have the ladies they kidnapped, held hostage, and they free them and all the other women being held captive. And then, as I recall, their two women get kidnapped again. So they run away and leave, and then realize like, oh yeah, we got to go back and get them one more time. So they have a mission, and then they think they accomplished it, and they have to go back again. I guess that's kind of the Star Wars model, the blow up the Death Star model. Macabro says some people get upset because the sun rises every morning. You can't please everyone, nor should they. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to. It's good to be considerate of people's feelings and not just say stupid stuff. But at the same time, there are some folks who will just look for any little thing as an excuse to try to, get some attention for themselves. So I think as long as people's hearts are in the good place, you can kind of overlook something that might be sort of ignorant, but. Obviously if Carpenter went into this with the intention of not doing anything hurtful or mean, anything that somebody else interprets as hurtful or mean is like, well, it's kind of on them. He made the effort. That's all we can ask out of anybody, right? Since we're talking about John Carpenter, a good time to bring up when I was at Flashback Weekend in Chicago, probably about 10 years ago or so. John Carpenter was there, and it was one of those deals where you pay and you pay early and you reserve, and there's VIPs, and then there's also like the regular, and the VIP was only like $10 more, but you got like, I think a picture and an autograph and whatever else. So I did that whole thing. Me and my cousin went, and we got a picture with Carpenter, and I went through and got some autographs at the autograph line and everything. And I gave him my cover of The Fog, the DVD. I think you could get 2 items signed. I don't remember. So one of them was the cover of The Fog DVD, and I had already had Tom Atkins sign it. So it said like best wishes, Tom Atkins, or I think Tom Atkins even like personalized it, like Don, best wishes or whatever. So then Carpenter looks at the Tom Atkins thing, and he's like, "Who's this? What name is this?" And he's like, I said, "Mr. Tom Atkins, really nice guy." And Carpenter's like, "Yeah, well, I'm not." And then I kind of looked at him, and I was like, "You are too, you liar." And like everybody was sitting this way, and I was kind of standing here, and he like kept his face like this, but then he like gave me the grandpa wink on this side. So he like kind of kept it kayfabe over here, but then gave me the wink and the little smirk. I was like, John Carpenter, you just made my day, man. That's a story I could tell at parties for the rest of my life, you cool grandpa ass. I admire Carpenter because after he got sick of making Hollywood movies, he just decided he was going to go home, smoke weed, watch basketball games, and play video games. I was like, dude, you are living the dream, bro. I like that Big Trouble was a big influence to Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I was kind of talking about that before. The logic, the Mortal Kombat people say that Raiden isn't from Old Boy Lightning in this, but give me a break. The same hat and everything. But then they do kind of openly admit that, what's his name? Shang-Zi or whatever, Shang-Zu, whatever. The guy in Mortal Kombat who swallows people's souls. Isn't he the guy that conducts the whole thing, maybe? But I'm not down on my Mortal Kombat lore. The last time I was refreshed on it was that damn movie that came out. So yeah, they openly say that the soul swallower or stealer is from Lo Pan in this, but then they don't say Raiden is. I'm assuming it has to be some sort of lawsuit thing, but weird. So they're hitting me with another commercial. Tubi, you rascals. And this appears to be a long one. I got a climate change commercial, and I'm getting a electric car or whatever car commercial, the Ionic. They must have heard me espousing my liberal nonsense of of trying to be nice to everybody. They're like, "Ooh, let's show this guy some hippie commercials. Here's one for climate change, and here's one for electric cars." What next? Something about tofu or all hemp clothes? Yeah, I don't know. Mortal Kombat in general, I couldn't imagine inventing or being what it is without this. There is that lightning god is real in Chinese and Japanese culture, but it's apparently like kind of a monster. Like it doesn't look like a man with a pan hat. To most people's knowledge, that's the first time that presentation of lightning god was put out there. And as soon as I saw Mortal Kombat, that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, "Oh, Big Trouble in Little China." So now we're on our 5th commercial. I saw one for, I don't know what that was. It just went by. Diapers. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't got no kids. Not that I know of. But this one's for Febreze, so they must know I stink. No, I actually was just looking at Febreze at the grocery store earlier, so I think they're tracking me. but it's so close to being over. That's the one thing I do like about the commercials. Like back in the day, you would have to know commercials were 2 minutes and 2 seconds. On Love Connection, Chuck Woolery would go to commercials and he'd be like, "We'll be back in 2 and 2," because that was the standard commercial break, 2 minute, 2 seconds. So on Tubi, they put that little scrolling circle so you can see when it gets completed. You can kind of see, oh, it's going to be a long commercial. Oh, it's going to be a fast commercial because it goes by so quick. At least they're making the commercial experience more enjoyable to me. Yeah, Gracie Law, everybody in this does more than him. There's a hilarious scene. He's like, okay, when we open this door, it's just going to be basic, offices and storefronts, and it's real mundane. It's all just a front. So they open the door, and there's just like everybody is standing there, an entire army of dudes. And then he quick closes the door again. Like, never mind. So Jack with the submachine gun, and now he's out of bullets. Yeah, that's Jack, all right. But Wang, of course, does like the big flying jump kick and beats everybody's ass. Like I say, Wang is basically Kato for the Green Hornet. Like Jack Burton's out in front getting all the pub, but then Wang is whooping everybody's ass. Like there, Jack Burton got down on his leg, tried to pull a knife out of a strap on his ankle, and when he pulled the knife out, it got away from him and it flung away. Somebody has to run over and grab the knife he just lost. That's part of the charm of this movie. And now he's back ready to fight after Wang has beaten everybody up. But they did have a scene where everybody got all wet, so Kurt's hair isn't perfectly coiffed. This scene should be half off. Tubi was getting crazy with the ads, but it does seem they have held back with the ads. I was going to ask, Professor, do you guys get Tubi down there? I thought at one point they had gotten rid of it, or is I know the folks overseas don't have it, and I was curious if Canada did or not. So if you're Canadian and watch this, let me know if Tubi is something you got. Here's the classic thing they do in old school Vincent Price movies and Scooby-Doo. You see a statue, but the eyes pull out, and we see somebody's eyes get in there and start looking around. I love that. If I was rich and eccentric, that would be my security system. Forget like ring alarms and lasers and stuff. I want just paintings with eyes, just watching. So yeah, there's this weird ape monster. I don't even know what he's supposed to be technically. The movie gets more magical as it goes along. Originally, we saw the people who control the wind and thunder and lightning or whatever, and then later on we get the this ape creature. It looks like a giant orangutan, Bigfoot kind of thing. And then there's also this flying head eyeball deal. It kind of reminds me of Flash Gordon, if you've ever seen that. There's like a floating sphere that follows people around and records them and stuff. And that's kind of the same deal in this, except it looks like a mad ball. I don't know, Google mad balls. Oh, actually, be careful what you might find with mad balls. But they were these toys when I was a kid that were basically just squishy balls for kids to play with, but they had like monster faces on them or gross like snotty faces and stuff. Mad balls. Yeah, here's this scary ass Chewbacca orangutan looking thing that re-kidnaps her. Yeah, it's just getting more weird and mystical and magical as it goes along. But he's down on the subway, so maybe he's like a chud. Professor says Cell's battery is dying, so I'm switching to watching it on my TV. Oh, thanks for blowing me up, Professor. Let's take this down and give you a high five. Nice to see you, Professor. Now it's a Maxitos production. It took a while to get to Mexico, even when it was all Mexican movies, but eventually they started uploading American and Asian movies, so it's great now. I think UK doesn't have to be. Yeah, because sometimes I'll try to talk to Video Tasties about it, and he's like, yeah, we don't have it here. I'm dumb as hell with any of that. I barely grasp how that works. It's like, isn't it the World Wide Web? Isn't once a website is created, everybody can watch it? It's like, no, that's not how it works. I never paid attention after this movie to notice if Kim Cattrall has those striking green eyes in other movies. I'm assuming it's just in this one, like as their contacts or something, because they look false on her. What was the other movie Kim Cattrall was in that was because she did Porky's. She also did one other like kind of sexy early role, and that's what that's what kind of doomed her in this. And they thought that she wasn't going to get the role because, like I said, she has a history of sexy time. Let's see what we got here. She starts her career in 1975. Nice. Quincy, Logan's Run, Hardy Boys, Columbo, Starsky and Hutch, Incredible Hulk, Vegas, Charlie's Angels, then Porky's in 81, and Ticket to Heaven in 81. I wonder if that's also kind of naughty. Tales of the Gold Monkey, that was a TV show that was a ripoff of Indiana Jones. They were trying to make their own Indiana Jones on ABC, and it was called Tales of the Gold Monkey. Police Academy, I forgot she's in that as well. Turk 182, that's a movie that is real divisive. I liked it, but a lot of people hated it. It's a 6 out of 10. And then after Big Trouble, then she does Mannequin, Midnight Crossing, Return of the Musketeers, Bonfire of the Vanities, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, the Dream On TV series. Boy. Invasion, Baby Geniuses. Oh, yeah, I think she's the mom in Baby Geniuses. 15 minutes. And then in 1998, yeah, she hooks on with Sex and the City and does 94 episodes. And that's, yeah, pretty much everything after that. I don't see anything good. The Sex and the City movies. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, the first time I saw her was when she was Lassie in Porky's. So that's kind of how I think of her. But then I saw Mannequin, as I was saying, in the theater. And at that point, I was like, oh, she seems like a big star, I guess. So when she was on Sex and the City as like kind of a third banana or whatever, I don't know. It felt right for her at that age. But at the same time, she's a good actress. Can't really hate on Kim Cattrall. She's a bit stiff and wooden in this, but I think she's supposed to kind of be. I like that Lopan has like his hat. I've never understood that. It's got a hat pin through it. So it's almost like the Steve Martin Wild and Crazy Guy arrow through his head. It looks like a bad Halloween prop you would get. It's like he's got the hat, but then it's got a spike through it. So it just looks like he drove a spike through his head. Let's see here. So Pork Chops, what's that all about? Wasn't she, besides Lassie, also in the Police Academy movie? Yep. Great. Now is he talking about Mad Balls? Thought this was a PG stream. See, that's what I'm saying. If you want to Google Mad Balls, they're basically like Boglins. But I'm afraid if you Google Mad Balls and have safe search off, there's no telling what you'll get. Like, ooh, those are some angry balls right there. Oof. Baby Geniuses. Ugh, talk about a low point in her career. Yeah, because basically Baby Geniuses is kind of an updated version of Look Who's Talking. And that was often kind of considered like, the first one was considered cute, but by the time they got to like the third one. And then I think the Baby Geniuses, do they manipulate the mouths and make them talk in that one? I don't know. I remember the little kids they're geniuses. The title is self-explanatory. That's the brilliance of Baby Geniuses. What's it about? Well, they're these babies and there's some geniuses. What's old boy's name? He's classic too. Victor Wong as Egg. Yeah, Egg Shen. Victor Wong is I think, was he in Revenge of the Nerds too? Wasn't that Booger's master? Or was that James Hong? No, it's him because he's got the face. When do they drink the potion? I always remember that part too. That was a weird scene that's in that where they drink like the magic potion for courage or whatever, and then they're like in the elevator. He's like, feeling pretty good. I need some of that magic potion. Let me get some. Let me get a gummer off the cup. Let's see. Where are we at with this cast is huge though. I mean, especially with loaded with like really good Asian actors. Dennis Dunn, James Hong, Victor Wong, Donald Lee, Carter Wong, Chow Lee Chi, Susie Pai, Jeff Imada, Rumal Moore, Jun Kyoto Lu, Craig Ning, Jade Go. See what I mean? I never realized what's his name is Swole. What else you been in? Carter Wong. That's the guy that's on right now with he's got the katana kind of knives or whatever, and he's putting on a big show. Just a bunch of kung fu movies I've never heard of. Tiger Claws 3, Spider Force, Kowloon, Lai Kai Tai Mu, Haiji Shen Nu, Hard Case and Fist. One of these things is not like the other. Interpol, Blow Up, The Furious. Yeah, he's just in all these movies that I can't pronounce. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow 2, Way of the Black Dragon, Wu-Tang Swordsman. Okay, 1978. There you go. Shaolin Brothers. I think that's what I know him from, 1977. Bruce Lee's Deadly Kung Fu. I've never heard of that one. Last Battle of Yang Chao. Invincible Devil. Kung Fu movies always have the best name. Shaolin Kung Fu Mystagogue. Return of the 18 Bronzemen. The Hand of Death. The Longest Bridge. The Good, the Bad, and the Loser. The Blazing Temple. I've been there. Revenge of the Patriots. The 18 Bronzemen. That's another 18 Bronzemen. What the hell? They remake it? The Dragon Tamers. The Skyhawk. Deadly China Doll. Filthy Guy. Lady Kung Fu. All these movies. Can you just name everything? Can you name my videos from now on? Yeah, this is like I was saying before. I don't think they need to do all this with the three dudes who control lightning, thunder, and wind, or whatever, the rain and the wind. They all have this moment where they get to prove that they're also like dope swordsmen and they have like weapon skills and stuff. It's like, you control weather. We don't need to know that you have kung fu skills. It's mildly irrelevant. It's burying the lead. Like, hey, I'm really good with a sword. Oh, and by the way, I also have lightning fingers. It's like, no, go with lightning fingers first. Professor says he has his own magic potion tonight. 'Tis an ancient formula called booze. What are you going with tonight, Professor? I was at the grocery store earlier, but it was a bad grocery store. They had like nothing good. My two best options were either New Glarus, which is a Wisconsin beer, or Milwaukee's or Pabst Blue Ribbon, which is a Wisconsin beer. Other than that, I think they had Rolling Rock, which is like about a Pennsylvania or something. But yeah, the beers they had was a terrible selection, so I didn't have any alcohol around tonight because I was too lazy to go to a second store. That's why I know I don't have a drinking problem. I'm too lazy to go get drinks. Next watch party idea: clone of Bruce Lee. That movie is insane. Yeah, I've never heard of Clone of Bruce Lee. It sounds good though. Sounds like something I would like and watch. So now, Egg, Wang, and Jack Burton, hilarious, are breaking into the bad guy's lair, and they're down underneath. Whoa, I forgot about that guy. They're down underneath the caverns and kind of this sewer thing, and there's all this like old water, the rocks are all smooth because there's been like water flowing through there, and there's all this moss growing, so it's like this really cool set. And while they're all standing around talking and planning, a giant like ant spider thing comes out of the wall and grabs one of their dudes and pulls him back. Like, I forgot that was even in there. Oh, Gracie Law is woke. I was mixing beer with Clamato, but can only drink for a little while before the Clamato taste gets to me. So now just regular beer. Yeah, when you said Clamato, I kind of I don't like tomato juice, and I only like clams to eat. But people who love it, I have a lot of friends who like Clamato. Yeah, that's because of the no tomato juice thing. I've never been a Bloody Mary guy, and I wish I was, because they look so cool, especially the ridiculous ones where they put like the giant skewer with like a cheeseburger and a piece of pizza and like a whole 3-course meal on the skewer on top of a Bloody Mary. Here's 6 pizza rolls, a mozzarella stick, two large pizzas, 2 Big Macs. But yeah, the tomato juice, I don't know. The flavor isn't all that good, which is weird because I like ketchup and I like tomatoes. I don't know why I don't like tomato juice. It's just too weird. I don't know, especially for breakfast. People treat it like it's a breakfast drink. That's strange to me. So Jack Burton jumps. He jumps into this like tunnel to get to slide down to where he can, enter the bad guy's lair, and he lands on a big pile of dead fish. So now he just stinks of dead fish. Let's see here. A mad scientist clones 3 Bruce Lee clones to stop another mad scientist in a gold smuggling scheme. Wow, that does sound good. Clones 3 Bruce Lee clones to stop another mad scientist in a gold smuggling scheme. Do they get Bruce Lee? That one always, even as a kid, I was like, seems like somebody should sue. When Bruce Lee passed away, I don't know. Bruce Lee might have been around when Bruce Lee was doing his thing, because I think they're both did a lot of Chinese cinema. Okay, here's where Egg, I think, makes the magic elixir. I'll see if he puts any clamato in there. Against the boldest satyr of the underworld, the ultimate evil spirit. And then Kurt Russell's like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a dumb American plot, like there's this whole cool ancient culture, these Asian people with like this huge backstory of thousands of years of art and history and gods and stuff, and then here's the dumbass Kurt Russell just like, what's going on? Don't make me kick everybody's ass. So we got hit with another commercial. Let's see when this one was. They've been on a 20-minute clip. So 20, 40, 60, 120, which I bet it is. Let's see when it comes back. But this looks like a mediocre long one, because we've had one commercial for Ricky Stenicki on Prime. I'm always fascinated by targeted ads, though. Like, that's one thing TVs didn't have back in the day. You would just have whatever commercial was on. So if, whether tampons applied to you or not, you were seeing a tampon commercial. If whether rubbers applied to you or not, you see a rubber commercial. So like now with targeted ads where they like can kind of, if you have an app on your phone, they track you, etc., stuff that you Google, what images you look at longer than other images, all that insane stuff. So targeted ads always like fascinate me. Like here, I keep getting hit with laundry stuff in Febreze, and I was just looking at air fresheners earlier. It's like, it's almost like they're following me around. But yeah, we're only halfway through this commercial. That's why I said that little yellow spinny thing that they put up that tells you how long you have in the commercial is kind of fun. You can see what progress you're on. That isn't that open-ended feeling of I can go look around somewhere else real quick or go do something else. You only have a couple seconds. Yeah, these mugs think I need to clean bad. Okay, I get the hint. Geesh. This ad was for a John Cena movie. That's on brand for me. And then dishwashing soap, laundry detergent, and now Febreze, and now they're doing dishwashing soap. So yeah, they're really trying to tell me to step up my hygiene game. What is this for now? Some sort of documentary? That sounds interesting. On corruption, vice, and murder. Yep, they know what I'm into. Oh, it's a book. A Killing on the Hill. And we're back to it. 112.55. Okay, so they are slightly ahead of their 20 minutes per pace commercial breakdown. And the fellas, as we're coming back in, we are at the 113.09 mark. So the fellas have just taken I think they're getting ready to drink the magical elixir, but they've broken into Egg Shen's palace, or Lo Pan's palace again. Except this time it's Egg and Wang and Jack Burton. But once again, these sets are all really super cool. They always put like the same statue lined up and down the hall. So there's these cool, like long visual shots of depth. And then the whole costume of this big wedding and stuff is really cool. The ancient kimonos and makeup and headdresses and stuff. And then they mix a lot of neon in there. So everything looks all stone and old school, but then they put a lot of like neon lights all around it to give kind of a modern, updated, Chinatown feel to it. Yeah, every like giant Every giant like piece of set piece in the wedding has neon around it. Here's that floating eyeball thing I was talking about. It's basically like the mystical version of that floating camera in Flash Gordon. And it looks like a mad ball, but be careful when you Google mad ball. Lopan, you need some sun, bro. You pale? Oh, let's see. Chat been relatively chill. It's 2:30 in the morning here, Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time. This one is a classic middle of the nighter. I usually like horror, but if I'm gonna watch something else, it needs to be kind of fun, actiony. I don't know. For some reason, big action is hard to watch before you go to sleep because it's lots of explosions and bright like lights flashing up the room and stuff. But this is like kind of dark action. Like I was mentioning Escape from New York before. It's a very like dark, quiet, watch it late at night movie. Like Escape from New York is a bad movie to watch at noon. This one works afternoon, but I also like it late because it's got a dark palette to it. The colors and everything are all, very little bright to it. It's John Carpenter movie. That's all John Carpenter movies look. Yeah, the budget was 25 million, and there's a lot on the screen. I read that the special effects were 2 million, and the special effects in it, the company that made the special effects, Carpenter and the producers were pissed at. They were like, they did a bad job. They charged too much. They took too long to do it. But the company themselves used this as part of their like resume and their demo reel. It's like, oh, we also did the lightning effects and stuff for Big Trouble in Little China. Made that weird orange orangutan monster thing, a floating eyeball, mad ball guy. Huh. My whole life, Lopan has floated down these steps for his wedding, and it's supposed to be really cool and interesting. And there they just showed a wide shot where you can see he's clearly on an escalator. I wonder if that's the HD transfer. Like it looked like steps before for years, and now that it's in HD, you can clearly see it's an escalator. I don't know. That's weird. Forget it, Jack. It's Chinatown. There you go. I didn't even tie that all together. Here's where Egg is feeding them. He's got this gourd, and he opens it up, and he's feeding them all these smoking glasses, dry ice in a metal cup. He says, "What's in this exactly?" And Egg goes, "Huge buzz." Like, I don't know. You hand me something like that and tell me huge buzz, I'll probably drink it. All right, I'll give it a go. Why not? We're partying. The Six Demon Bag. That's a good name for your improv group. A hated person you're in a relationship with. I got to spend time with the Six Demon Bag tonight. So there we go. They've swallowed down their liquid courage, and here's the part where they get in the elevator. And I remember, like, they're all just like happy and feeling good. They're almost like tripping, feeling pretty good. Not scared at all. Just feel kind of invincible. Me too. Got a very positive attitude about this. Good. Me too. And they're all like happy. All the little dudes are like, yeah, right on, man. Yeah, power. Yeah. Yeah, what a strange scene to incorporate. It's like, well, our characters should get kind of like tripping before they go up there real quick. Let's everybody drop acid and go fight the bad guys. This is not a room you want to walk into high on drugs. It's like, oh man, we were tripping balls and we wandered into this weird Chinese wedding, and there's all these like ancient zombie man cutting people up, and it's a lot. But yes, Macabro, forget it, Jack. It's Chinatown. As I mentioned earlier, one of the people they considered for this movie for Jack Burton was apparently Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson. And I can't imagine Jack Nicholson in this at all. Clint Eastwood a little bit, but I don't think he would be funny enough. He would just be Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's already like second generation John Wayne, or the evolution of John Wayne, I should say. But here Kurt Russell's kind of doing like a mocking John Wayne thing, like, oh, give it a break, you over tough blowhard. So here he's putting he's doing the thing where he's got both brides dressed up and he's putting the needles into them, and then as they bleed, like he feels like his blood, him coming to life or whatever. But it's crazy how their eyes are like zombied up. They like do the Undertaker thing where their eyes are all rolled up into the back of their head and you can only see the whites. The milky, no pupil look. Very hot this fall. You ladies, the milky, no pupil look is what everybody's going for. To be fair, I was going into fighting an epic battle with ancient monsters. Yeah, get me as backed as possible. Yeah, I agree. That's why I say it's a weird scene to have, but I kind of feel them. Hey, we may or may not be dying in like 20 minutes, and we got to have ridiculous amounts of pointless courage. And there's another scene where Jack Burton's a goof. He like holds his gun above his head and fires a few shots, and he blows a hole in the ceiling, and rocks drop on his head and knock him out. I wish real life bombs were like movie bombs. Like in movies, when a bomb goes off or there's an explosion, you just see people fly like 20 feet. In real life, like they lose their arm and they're like blood everywhere and their like faces charred and stuff. On the A-Team, it was like, I remember as a kid, they would be in car crashes and then you would just see people fly. Like, I don't think that's how car crashes work. We're fine. So Wang and old boy Kung Fu Master are about to go at it. Peter Kwong, I believe is his name. What have you done, Peter Kwong? What awesome film title names are you going to have? Peter Kwong has done 88 roles. And I like him already because one of the things he did was Project 420. And then he was in Bud's house, B-U-D-Z house. So, yeah, apparently Peter Kwong be down with the partying before getting into a fight too. He's in a Sword of Justice. He's in a bunch of TV in America. Interesting. Cagney and Lacey. Greatest American Hero. Little House on the Prairie. The A-Team. The aforementioned A-Team is Tommy Chen. Miami Vice. So apparently he must be an American-born actor. Amazing Stories, 227, Big Trouble in Little China, MacGyver, He was in Big Trouble in Little China and The Golden Child. Good for him. 2 competing movies and he's in both. He's like the Rick Rude of this whole thing. That's an NWO deep cut for you guys. Beauty and the Beast, Full House, Night Watch. Gleaming the Cube is Bobby Nguyen. Okay. I do remember that, huh? Renegade, Brain Smasher, A Love Story. One of, I would say, Dice Clay's second best movie. The Wayans Brothers TV show. He was in Theodore Rex. God bless him. Homeboys in Outer Space, Paper Dragons, King of the Hill, Ghost Rock, General Hospital, Jag, Narc, Drake and Josh, Dragon Dynasty, Bud's House, Project 420. Yeah, he's moved into the stoner things. Lethal Weapon TV series. And that's it. Well, that was a moment of Peter Kwong, for those of you who are wondering about Peter Kwong. But he's badass in this, though. He's Rain, and he's got like the long hair, and he's got the sword, and he's doing all the flips. Like, he's the one that has the main battle with Wang. And we already know Wang's badass. He's basically like this film's Bruce Lee. Here's the scene I was talking about earlier where they do the digital video game thing, and they create the like giant specters in the sky, and they're like mystical, I don't know, I guess spirits or whatever. And they use these avatars for themselves. So Wang, our Egg has one, and then Lopan has one, and they're like fighting it out with magic in the sky. It's kind of a crazy ass scene. It's a sort of rock'em sock'em robots. Russell says, "Hey, Big Don. Welcome, Russell. Thanks for joining us. Are you familiar with Big Trouble in Little China?" Also, disclaimer, if my spelling starts to turn into gibberish, well, it's because I'm drinking the hell out of my courage juice. You feeling pretty good? Me too? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I feel like everything's going to be okay. So we're at the big epic kung fu battle here at the end where they're going to where everybody gets rescued. So yeah, you can see the escalator there too. So maybe just as a kid, I never cared enough to pay attention. Their lightning zapped. Oh, that was kind of dope. There's this big skeleton or skull at the top of the steps with the escalator. And after Lopan and the brides escape, the dude who controls lightning zaps the skull and makes the head kind of come down and close like a Castle Grayskull kind of thing. It was pretty cool. Get him, Wang. Get him. It's me, Gracie. Yeah, she's kind of playing over the top and silly. Like, I think it's intentional. How big and broad her performance is. I think she's almost trying to match Kurt Russell's. Oh, let's see here. So we are at 124.50, so just about the 125-minute mark. So there's about 15 minutes left with credits, which means we'll be done at about 3 o'clock a.m. Central Time. That's about what I was guessing. That's pretty good. Yeah, I still don't get this big orangutan monster thing, because he's how it ends too. Like after they escape, there's this kind of sweet moment where, I don't know, sweet is romantic or whatever, where Jack Burton has to, keep going and being Jack Burton. So he gets in the truck and he's leaving, and Gracie Law is kind of like, hey, can I come with, or we got a thing or what? And he's like, no, and just kind of leaves her. So, like I said, I kind of compared it to Casablanca, where it's like they spend the whole time like hooking up, but at the end it's like, no, we're not going to be together. Lost in translation or something. So then when we see the Pork Chop Express driving away and Jack Burton's kind of giving one of his CB soliloquies where he's like pontificating to no one. You know what old Jack Burton says at a time like this? They pan back and you see in the back of the truck is that weird orangutan monster deal. So they hit me with a commercial while Jack and Gracie were making out in the elevator there. This appears to be... Ooh, this might be a long one. It's probably the last one if there's only 15 minutes left. It might be a long one, might be a short one. Oh, let's see here. Gareth says, relax, everyone. Everyone relax. I'm here. Well, thank goodness. Gareth, how many times have you seen Big Trouble in Little China? I imagine it's one of your faves. And this is usually the part where you tell me you didn't like it. Just remember to keep your cloth on, Professor, and no nude live streams. Good evening. Yeah, greetings and salutations. I really hope they never remake this. And the Videodrome are two flicks they have threatened to remake for years now. Yeah, I was kind of talking about that earlier. I did some research on the Rock version. It's still apparently in development, but Dwayne Johnson won't be playing Jack Burton. He'll play like someone, Jack Burton's friend's son or whatever. And then Jack Burton makes a cameo in the beginning and kind of hands the reins off to him. But I've been hearing about that Rock version for like 8-9 years now. It's been a long time. Oh, no one ever wants to see a nude Macabro. Oh, you take that back. Macabro OnlyFans coming soon. So once again, they're hitting me with dish detergent. See, they're following me because I did dishes at one point in my life. Now, all right, finally, wrap it up. There we go. And finished. So we're at 126 minutes, so roughly less than 15. And now, once again, stuff that Carpenter does with Kurt Russell that is real life, but you don't do in movies. So him and Gracie Law have this big makeout session in the elevator on the way to go upstairs. And then he comes out of the elevator and he's got lipstick all over his lips from making out. So he looks ridiculous. They are using the hell out of this Golden Buddha set. When I first saw it, I was like, that's really cool, the depths of the scene and stuff. But now that I realize they use it for like 4 or 5 different scenes, it makes way more sense. He calls David Lopan Dave. He's like, well, Dave, you know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this? Who? Jack Burton. Me. And then, of course, here comes Wang flipping in. Be careful with a flipping in Wang. Just a public service announcement. Kids, don't let your wang flip. And try to be careful where your wang lands when you flip it. So Jack finally was able to successfully get his knife out of his boot. And he throws it at Lopan and he misses and it just bangs into the gong. And he's like, what an idiot I am. And even Gracie Law gives him the look like, you suck. Settle down, Gracie. The Rock is going to play that Bigfoot monster, but he shaved his head and turned out looking like The Rock. The last couple of times I've seen The Rock, that is incredibly believable. Right before WrestleMania this year, like he came back to WWE, and I don't watch Raw, but I always see the clips floating around on YouTube and stuff. And he was like 3 times bigger than he'd ever been before. He was like huge. I think he lost weight by the time WrestleMania came around, but his arms were like the size of my thighs. And I got some meaty thighs. I got some gams, let me tell you. Gareth says he saw this in the cinema. That a boy. I knew it. You better say you liked it. I figured this is someplace you would see. And I always love when Gareth says cinema, because in America we often say theaters, because that's what they have, that's what the signs say out front. He always corrects me. You went to the theater? Yeah, I did. Many people have lost an eye with a flipping wang, right? Maybe that's what happened to Snake Plissken, to tie it all together. Sir Gareth, what haven't you seen in the cinema? I don't know. That's what I like about Gareth. Although he doesn't go to the movies that much nowadays, or at least he keeps it a secret. He's too busy collecting home media. Actually, he's probably like me. He tapped out somewhere around 2010 and quit watching new movies. It's like, yeah, I like all the old movies. Same with music. I like old music. I don't like new music. I'd rather go back and learn about stuff I missed than go forward and see the new stuff they're making, because every time I see new stuff they're making, like, ugh. But every now and then one breaks through. Same with music. Something will happen. It's like, oh, you got to check out this. It's like, okay, yeah, that is good. But the rest of it sucks. So here comes Raiden. Lightning. Yeah, he totally... Mortal Kombat needs to send them some money. They need to pay John Carpenter something. Although that big ridiculous hat, he kind of looks like Dark Helmet. Like it's so oversized it looks absurd. Looks like somebody put a Barbie hat on a G.I. Joe guy. So here Jack Burton's deciding, should I fight Lightning Man or should I try to jump up through this hole and escape? And of course, like the hero he is, he jumps up through the hole and escapes. That's what I mean. Jack Burton is a great hero because he's just so untraditionally, and like he's a dope. He's stupid. Garrett says he watches it every year. I was going to say, I bet you probably have done a couple watch parties of this one. A lot of 80 films were 18, like RoboCop and Predator, so never saw them in the cinema. In America, if you had an adult with you, you could go, but a lot of times they just didn't even care. I saw plenty of movies when I was way too young to go see them, just because it put the onus on the kids working at the theater to tell you, like, no, I can't let you see this or whatever. Sometimes you'd get some jerk dude who was like happy he had any power in the world who would say, you have to be 18 to see this or whatever, or 17 in America. I never understood that, why everything was 18 except for movies. 17's fine. Okay. Wait a year for cigarettes, though. Yeah, this is all early video game stuff. The way they're escaping through the holes using like grappling hooks and ropes that pull up and stuff. I freely admit it. I am becoming an old man screaming at a cloud. New stuff sucks. Give me the stuff from my times. Food tasted better. Rock movies kicked ass. Yeah, I hate to say it. I fall into the same boat. Like I say, somewhere around the 2010 mark, I kind of just was like, most new stuff isn't good. It's just rehashed old stuff. But every now and then, that's the cool thing about having like a community like this, is folks will let you know, oh, such and such is out. You should check that out. Or this movie's notable for whatever reason. because movies like Terrifier and stuff, those would have never got popular if it wasn't for word of mouth nowadays. Same with It Follows. Like, I really enjoyed It Follows. I never would have watched that if it wasn't for people telling me I would like it. Same with When Evil Lurks or whatever. People kept telling me that was good, and I saw a few people say that it was one of the best movies of the year, and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And of course, Jack Burton's The Pork Chop Express on the front has like the classic mud flap lady, like the woman leaning back with the flowing hair, and it says haulin' ass. Damn right, buddy. So once again, a genre-breaking moment. They're speeding away from the crime scene or from the escape, and Gracie Law goes, "Red light!" And he comes to a screeching stall at the or stop at the red light, but there's no one there. It's like a dead intersection. He totally could have ran the red light. Who cares? And there's Eddie. Of course, he just gets the free woman. It's like, we even brought a lady for you too, Eddie. Attaboy. Wang actor was in The Golden Child and all 3 ninja films with the kids. Oh yeah, he was. Like I said, I noticed he was in The Golden Child. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Do you guys feel like this and Golden Child were competitors? Like that was the theory behind this, that they were both like sort of Asian mysticism movies, and Hollywood hadn't made those for decades, and now all of a sudden they had 2 coming out within 6 months of each other. Professor, you got it, mate. I am old. You have less fucks about Thanksgiving like I did. Dude. Yeah, that's the thing. I drove a rig for 15 years. Oh, Russell's the real Jack Burton. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, just most new stuff. When you've seen so much, you kind of realize like people develop a language of film. So you do things that they do in other movies, except the best films do it a new way. But some movies will just straight up take a scene from a movie that's already been done. Like, I want that in my movie. And they'll just like redo it, the way they shoot it and the dialogue and everything, the music keys. Like, we'll use a different song, but it'll punch in at the same moment. It's like, I already saw this in a different movie. What was that one I hated? Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It. It was like what's that guy's name? The famous DJ. I don't know, pick your own famous DJ at home. It just felt like somebody mixing together the greatest hits of movies. It was like, oh, there's The Exorcist, there's Psycho, So I like going back and seeing all the old stuff from before I was born and realizing, oh, okay, that movie I love that has that awesome scene, they stole it from 1960 or whatever. Sometimes it's heartbreaking. There'll be something I love, and then I'll find like where they took the original idea from, and it'll look exactly like it. And I'm like, damn. That movie I loved, it's not original even in the least bit. So, of course, Jack Burton has a big old Harley Davidson trucker hat, which kind of an oxymoron. I don't know. Does Harley Davidson make trucks? Doesn't seem like they do. Maybe they do. I'm not a big rig buyer. I wouldn't know. Let's see here. Russell says that. Alcoholic ass. Hey, Bones is still here. Nice to see you. Another one. 13 for weed. Wow, that's a good price. That's a good price and a good age for weed. Yeah, every time I see a new movie, I scream at the screen. Simpsons did it exactly. I often think of Simpsons did it. It's like if you take an idea that another movie did, but you do it your own way, that's cool. But when you just flat out copy some other movie almost shot for shot, it's like, dude, this is brutal. And there it is, the Pork Chop Express driving away in the rain, and there's that weird, crazy Garbage Pail Kids monster. Hey, this one, the subtitle said upbeat music. Time to play my favorite game. You may also like, they recommend Ladyhawke, The Fifth Element, Bulletproof Monk, naturally Bulletproof Monk, Mortal Kombat, naturally, that makes sense. Twilight Zone the movie? I don't know if I can go for that. If Looks Could Kill with Richard Grieco, maybe, but probably not. I guess because it's a wacky action movie. Original Ghostbusters. Oh, heads up, Original Ghostbusters on Tubi. I was unaware of that. Suburban Commando. Damn you, Tubi, damn you. No one should watch Suburban Commando. Well, I've seen it 2 or 3 times, but no one besides me should see it. Mortal Engines. I've never seen it, but I want to. It was on my queue on Max forever. And Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren one. I'm assuming that's just got to be because of the time period, right? 1987, and this came out in 86. I don't know. I like how John Carpenter not only has his name above the title, but he also has like a font. There's like a John Carpenter font. Like, I don't know what kind it is. I'm not a font nerd, but just the, like, in all his movies, they have kind of that squished together, condensed with the over, I don't even know what they're called, different little caps on all the letters. Sure, I made that up. He says, yes, he's tempted by the Fall Guy, though. Horror Cat Dad went and saw it today. He said it was hilarious and good. He's also a Gosling mark, though, so he'll probably grade up for Gosling. Let's see here. As I had said before, this movie was a bomb at the box office. It was $25 million to make. It only made 11.1, but ever since then, it redeemed itself, and it's kind of become a cult classic. So that's John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. If you have thoughts on, apparently the people in the chat agree with me. They kind of wish they wouldn't make any more like a sequel or a total reboot. But I also understand why they do that. You know, they want to update the story, and they figure that once you get far enough apart, there's enough room. So I heard good things about the Fall Guy, Gareth. Yeah, that's the word. The Fifth Element, aka Outer World, is great. Oh, I didn't realize Fifth Element had an alternate name. Suburban Commando. I was frozen today. Undertaker talking with chipmunk voice. What's not to love? Yeah, I don't know. Most Hulk Hogan movies aren't really something you could describe as awesome cinema, but they're fun in their own way. He's kind of a carrot top of his day. Santa with muscles. There you go. What's the other one? Something Nanny? I don't know. Yeah, the Hulk Hogan oeuvre is deep. I like what's it called? Paradise, Thunder in Paradise, Paradise and Thunder, something like that. That damn TV show that used to be on TNT where he solved crimes and drove a speedboat around. It's like, well, of course. What else would Hulk Hogan do? And Mr. Bones mentions No Hold Bars. What's that smell? Dookie. All right, there. That's good. And then Echo comes back with No Holds Boglins. See, tying it back to the Boglin community. I like it. Well, it is exactly 3 a.m. on the nose Central Time. I think that is a perfect time to wrap it up and thank all of you who've been dropping by. Macabro, Russell, Mr. Bones, Gareth, Video Tasties, Anthony Chabot was here earlier. Liv was here. Shout out to Liv. Mitch was here. Shout out to Mitch. That was fun when Mitch messaged me on Instagram and it showed up in the stream. Eric, of course, Eric was here. Eric's always got awesome questions, and we unraveled how exactly he gets comfortable in bed. Mayanne, I forgot to drop by. She was up late. Who else? I believe that's pretty much everybody. Who am I missing? Yeah, I think that's the whole crew tonight. That was good. I appreciate all of y'all for dropping by. Echo, Anthony Chabot. Oh, that's right. Max was here. The one and only MSJ. I forgot Max was up front. Oh, and Sarah Campbell was here, but she was here. She knows she's she's an early to bed person, so it was a miracle she made it for us. I appreciate it. Folks are saying good night. I say good night to all of you. Professor says, okay, take care, Don, everyone in the chat. I hope you are loved by Ino Sweetos. We love you back, Professor. You're the man. Mr. Bone says shower hugs. Russell says good night all. Gareth says night. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to get taken off, and I'm going to make myself a microwave pizza. Maybe go inhale some smoke. We'll see. Anyways, I have to wish you what I always wish you. Green grass and high tides forever, my friends. Be well. Take care. Have a good, safe